For many people, the hardest part of buying a new home is simply just saving up enough money to make it happen. Between your down payment, your closing costs, inspection fees, these numbers can all really start to add up and make it next to impossible for many people, including a lot of our first-time home buyers, to purchase a home. So that's why I've partnered with a loan officer who's tapped into programs and grant funds that can reduce or eliminate many of these costs for a lot of our home buyers. So that's who we're gonna hear from today. Stick around and we'll get right to it. Welcome back to Moving to Hampton Roads. My name is David Tortellini, and I've been helping people just like you buy and sell property throughout Southeastern Virginia since 2010. And for many of those years, my clients and I have put our trust in Courtney Efird with Ameris Bank Mortgage. She's helped my clients save tens of thousands of dollars on those expensive down payments and closing costs that can really hamper you from buying your first home. And she's helped people get into homes that they otherwise would never have been able to afford. So in this video, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna turn it over to Courtney, and she's gonna tell you all about these programs and how you can take advantage of them too. Before I send it over to her, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. All right, Courtney, take it away.
Hi, my name is Courtney Efird, and I'm a mortgage loan originator based out of Richmond, Virginia. While I can lend in 48 states, my main focus is Eastern Virginia. From Virginia Beach up to Richmond, that's considered the Hampton Roads, Peninsula, Williamsburg, and Richmond, Virginia areas. Today, I want to talk to you about a question I get asked the most as a loan officer, and that is about grant money, down payment assistance, closing cost assistance, first-time home buyer help. Basically the question, what's out there that can help me purchase a home? There are a lot of factors that come into play when trying to decide if grant money is available to you, if you're able to qualify for it. One of the main and first questions I always ask somebody is, are you a first-time home buyer? Because the majority of grant money that's out there is going to be focused towards helping those first-time home buyers get into a home. Now, that's not saying you can't get grant money if you're not a first-time home buyer. That's just saying the majority of the options that are out there are leaning towards helping first-time home buyers. The second question that I'm going to ask you is, what is your income? Because almost, if not all, grant money that's available out there is going to be income capped for low to moderate income households. The whole point of the grant money is to try to help people that aren't able to save up a down payment get into a new home. So if you do make too much money, that could eliminate you from being able to qualify from a lot of the grant programs that are out there. Next is going to be credit score, loan program, and qualifying. Some grants are paired with conventional loans, some can be paired with any loan, some are just straight government loans. So we really have to have those pieces of information in order to be able to place you into one of those buckets to be able to see what grant programs are out there for you. Your first option for grant programs, down payment assistance, and closing cost assistance is going to be looking into your state bond program. We here in Virginia have Virginia Housing that offers a plethora of down payment assistance, first-time home buyer options, and even non-first-time home buyer options. They offer 2%, 2.5% grants for down payment. They offer 2% closing cost assistant grants. They offer 100% financing. They offer the ability to be able to finance in some of your closing costs if you have over a 680 credit score. These are all great options and programs that are out there available to you if you are in the state of Virginia. So remember, each state should have their own sort of bond program that will offer different things. This is just focusing on the state of Virginia. Another factor to take into consideration when you're considering grant money or seeing what grant money is out there is when it's available, how long it will be available, if it will run out. There are some programs that no matter if you get pre-qualified in January or December, it's going to be available. And then there are others that as soon as the money or the allotment hits the bank's account, it could run out in a matter of weeks. So when you are researching and figuring out what options are good for you, it's important to understand and know how these grant programs work. So you know if you're under a time crunch before a grant program runs out of funds, or if you have the ability to take longer in your search because you know that grant money is not going to run out. For example, our state bond program, Virginia Housing, they usually don't run out of money. So the only thing that could happen would be if they announced a new program, replaced a program with another program. But essentially, if you're pre-qualified for one of these programs, it's not going to run out of funds before you purchase a home. Your next opportunity for grant funds would be a third party that's offering grant funds to partner with a loan that you're doing with your current bank. For example, a very popular program is an FHLB grant that we do that's available to us here in Virginia. I know it's very popular on the East Coast. It's the Federal Home Loan Bank of Atlanta. They now are offering up to $15,000 in down payment and closing cost assistance via that grant. And it is a third party that you go through in addition to your current mortgage company. So what would happen is you would apply with me for a loan, and we would know that there were FHLB funds available for you. So once you got under contract, we would collect all the documentation to submit to FHLB for approval. That's not saying they're the only grant program that's out there that's offering these kind of grants. It's just one of the most popular ones that a lot of banks have access to, but that also means that they run out of funds quickly. Used to deliver funds in January or February. They've moved it to spring. They've backed it up some. So it's usually in the first quarter of the year or so. They'll tell us when their funds are available, and then it's first come, first serve. The downfall to working with a third party is that you're at their disposal as far as timelines, approvals, qualifications, guidelines, all of those things. I wouldn't have any control on changes or exceptions or being able to rush things along. So just keep that in mind if you're applying for these type of grant programs, that your loan officer may not have any push in being able to move things along if their timelines are running long. So just keep that in mind when you are planning your timeline and your contract. A third option for grant programs or down payment assistance is going to see if your specific bank or mortgage company that you're working with has their own program. For example, I work at Ameris Bank. We have a 4% grant program up to $12,500 for first-time home buyers. That's something that we've applied with Fannie Mae and gotten approval for, and we have our own amount of funds allotted in order to offer that to our clients. So if you were to go to the next bank, they may not be able to offer that type of program. So unfortunately, there is some research that would need to be done on your part in figuring out what grant programs are out there and what are your best options. Here, we're just touching on some really good options here in the state of Virginia that I know are available and that I've done personally myself. I will also post a link for Freddie Mac's DPA1 website, which they've been trying to gather and have a one-stop shop of where consumers and home buyers can look for these type of grant programs, because not everyone's going to offer them. Not every loan officer is going to know how to do them, and not every loan officer is going to want to do them. So you want to make sure that when you're shopping for a mortgage or talking to a loan officer that you're talking to somebody that's familiar with these products and actually wants to do the research and the extra work to help you get that grant money. Unfortunately, a lot of them are not easy to get. They require extra documentation, extra steps, longer timelines, all things that make the process a little bit harder for the loan officer. But in the end, if it helps you get in a home, your loan officer should be happy to do that extra work for you. Another opportunity with our state bond program is offered by Virginia Housing is what we call spark funds. These are additional funds that are provided to certain cities and counties around the area that can also offer special financing when paired with a Virginia Housing loan. For example, there are just flat grants where they may offer you a flat amount of money in order to get those extra funds. There's also an opportunity for a 1% rate reduction. I know the city of Richmond, when they have spark funds available, if the current rate's running 7%, then they'll offer a 6% interest rate with the spark funds. The funds essentially buy the rate down for you so that you have that lower interest rate, which helps with qualifying and obviously helps with your monthly payment and making you feel more comfortable in purchasing that home. Another thing you need to take into consideration when you are looking for grant funds is if they can be stacked. Some grant funds will require them to be in second position. So essentially when you purchase a home and get a first mortgage, that mortgage is in first position, and any grant funds would be considered in second position. So if you were stacking grants and had another grant, one of those grants would have to agree to be in third position. For example, with our Ameris grant, we require that 4% grant up to $12,500 to be in second position, but FHLB will allow third position. So we can actually stack a $12,500 or a $15,000 FHLB grant with our 4% Ameris grant, essentially stacking your grant money. So what you don't want to do is apply for multiple grants without figuring out if they will all be able to be used or stacked and who will take what position. The majority of the grant funds that I work with are reported as a second mortgage or a second lien on the property, meaning that when you were to go order a payoff, you would see your first mortgage and what you owe there, and then you would see the grant funds as a second lien. The two that we've spoken about earlier, our Ameris grant and FHLB grant, are considered our 5-year forgivable seconds, meaning that if you stay in the home for 5 years, then they are fully forgiven and you don't owe any of that money back. If you were to move out of the home or sell the home before the 5-year period is up, we would order a payoff to see how much of that grant money had not been forgiven. So it's a 5-year forgivable second, forgiven 20% each year. So if you've lived in the home for 3 years, essentially 60% of whatever grant you received would be forgiven and 40% of it would be owed back when you sold the home. A lot of people have that question when they see my worksheet because the 4% Ameris grant is listed as a second lien. So that's why you don't pay any interest on it. It is essentially a long-term, a 5-year loan to you with no interest. And if you stay in the home for 5 years, it's 100% fully forgiven.
Okay, there you go. Those are the down payment and grant programs from Courtney Efird at Ameris Bank Mortgage. So huge thanks to Courtney for explaining those to us today. And if you have any comments or questions, you can leave those below and either Courtney or I will reply to them as soon as possible. And make sure to check out the description where we'll have some helpful links for you there, including all of Courtney's contact information. So hopefully she can help save you a ton of money on your next mortgage. Of course, I would love to help you out with the home purchase part of that. So you can give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email anytime. In the meantime, I'd love for you to like this video, share it with anyone else you know who may be looking to buy a home sometime soon in the Hampton Roads area, and subscribe to this channel. Again, my name is David Tortellini. I'm with eXp Realty. Thank you so much for watching.